This is new Moscow Metal Minute, and I'm your girl, Vicious Natasha. Today we have a special guest here in Moscow. For the very first time in Russia, the most provocative and polarizing figure of rock stage. Madeline the Big Mouth.
Hello, I'm Madeline the Big Mouth. Blowjob 1 grand, I swallow for 2.
I wish I had a dick myself. What are you showing this gesture for, Madeline?
It is called fuck you. People show it to express their anger. It stands for freedom. It is it is manifestation of your true self.
Ah, I see. In Russia, we just show it like this, like this. It's like tougher. Okay? Listen, Madeline, you've sucked dick of practically every single famous metal musician. As a professional, what can you tell us about perspectives of metal stage today, about this genre?
I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but their drug addict background plus aging doesn't make anything good for what. So personally, I feel like I'm gonna lose my job. I suck only for the famous. I ain't working with the rookies, they don't pay so much. So I'm totally pessimistic.
So rock is dead?
Rock is dead.
Oh, it's so upsetting to hear that. By the way, what music do you like beside metal?
I like Ariana Grande. I wanna be just like her.
Who is this suka? Wait, this is fucking pop? Do you like fucking pop? What is this suka is doing on my show?
Last month, I've sucked for the entire Slipknot band. It's 8 people.
Oh, so you're familiar with new metal. What can you tell us about the latest Korn record? It just came out. It's so emotional. What do you know about these faggots?
Here I've hung out with Korn once in early 2000s. Their lead singer, to be exact, is freaking Jonathan Davis. Blowjob is what I do, but he made me to scream at him, call him the bad boy, and to flog his fat ass. You remember how fat he was in early 2000s? He was screaming at me, I'm so bad, I deserve it, I'm so bad, I deserve it, give more,
Okay, calm down.
I'm not a violent person. I hate violence, but I was afraid to stop. I didn't know what he's gonna do then. I just want to forget. I hate Korn.
Listen, it was 20 years ago.
So I'm old now. Thank you.
Well, how do you say it in English? Every cloud has a silver lining, so you're gonna lose your teeth and you'll be even better sucker than you are now. It was New Moscow Metal Man.
Hi comrades, I'm Red Princess and you're watching Station Marks International.
Not so long time ago, metal fan base had been split up in halves by BabyMetal. What? This is wrong band? Seriously? Oh, I'm sorry. Let's try again. BabyMetal. What? This one is wrong band too? What the hell? I remember that BabyMetal had grown-up men in it. That's right. Now I remember that BabyMetal is the one with grown-up men who are not even trying to look like babies. In spite of support of so many famous musicians, some people still have a hope that this insanity is gonna be over somehow. And as opponents of BabyMetal had never illustrated their point, I thought, why not to do that myself as I'm a little girl? Because every time when things are screwed up, there come we commies and clear up the mess. Get back, motherfucker, you don't know me like that. Get back, motherfucker, you don't know me like that. BabyMetal this. To answer the question, what the hell happened? Why and why now BabyMetal came out, we got to consider the entire music industry, as BabyMetal is not an event. It's a symptom of a bigger process. I suggest we take a look at that from the perspective of economy. What can help us with that? Definitely Marxism, because Marxism states the problem of connection between economy and everything else in a society. Economic relations are the basic, and their type has influence on every other kind of relations in relationship in a society. For example, morality, religion, culture, worldview, family, sex, you name it. And definitely art. What do I mean? Let me give you a couple of examples, okay? Let's pick one element of the society, the one of our interest, music and musicians, and see how it depended on economy in different periods of history. For example, ancient China, which was river civilization. I hope, Comrade, you know what it means. It's centralized and strictly hierarchical system, which was on its turn caused by constant struggle with harsh climate and two rivers. It made music a political matter. There was special ministry of music since ancient times. Music in China was attended to keep things in balance. It was symbol of cosmic order. One example. Music and musicians in early European capitalism. They were accounted as artisans. You know, just like carpenters, blacksmiths, turners, and artists. It is the very 18th century. For example, Johann Sebastian Bach had to be employed by different dukes and work for different cathedrals, where majority of his music was custom-made. The very first musician who claimed for musical freedom was Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, and for that insolence he was kicked down the stairs once. Musicianness as we know it today was established only in 19th century, along with Romanticism. Drastic technological progress fueled European economy, along with colonialism. And for the very first time in history, thousands and thousands of people got a chance to think about something else but survival, and thus culture focused on feelings and emotions of individuals. And artists at last were valued for who they are. BabyMetal this! But who are musicians today? Millionaires who have everything they need and who have total freedom in creativity?
or just a bunch of depressed people who are going in circles inside the system and trying to break free. Nowadays we live in monopolistic capitalism, which had been predicted by Karl Marx a long time ago. The entire world today is one big market field for transnational corporations. They consume smaller companies, sole proprietors, and even each other, and then they imitate diversity to create an illusion of choice for consumers. The main characteristic of capital is self-growth. It is like cancer. If capital doesn't have new territories to consume, it turns into market field things which were not involved in trading process before. Even the things we call priceless, like friendship, love, beauty, innocence, or art. It applies to include the things in Procrustean bed of its laws. The cornerstone of the market is profit, its measure of quality. What's profitable is good, what's not is bad. It works more or less fine with production of food, clothes, shoes, and accommodations. But what about music or movies? I bet you can name a bunch of great movies which were accounted complete failures when they just came out, but later they were acknowledged to be the classics. And an opposite example, when extremely successful movies disappear like fireflies. So, what if we let the market to measure who is a greater musician by the profits? Johann Sebastian Bach or Ariana Grande, Lana Del Rey in Miley Cyrus combo? It seems that market doesn't work. Why so? When mass market just appeared, it was to satisfy the needs of a drastically growing population in a very short period of time. So it was to produce thousands and thousands equal products. And it was extremely well with production of food, clothes, and accommodations. Unless it was inevitably extrapolated to culture.
BabyMetal this.
How does market influence music? First of all, it causes branding of musicians. And this process is dualistic. On one hand, it's easier for the market to sell things which have been sorted. So it labels musicians and then manages them as diverse products. On the other hand, musicians themselves, they accept this logic too. They play the same music year by year, and no matter how they feel about it, they stick to their brand. They are afraid to take a step out of it, because that's how it works in market. For example, what if all of a sudden Apple interrupted production of gadgets and started to produce apple juice because somebody found in Steve Jobs' will that he had a childhood dream to have an apple orchard? No one would be happy about it, especially companies which already produce apple juice, because apple juice is their market field. And they don't need a company like Apple, this big as Apple, interfere in their business. At the same time, a market needs constant refreshment to keep attention of consumers. Even the fake one, like new Coca-Cola bottle, new iPhone every year, live-action remake of classic cartoon, or little girls in a metal band. Musicians accepting this logic try to be entertaining again and again at any cost. They treat themselves and their music as unique, original products. It's like their music doesn't belong to them anymore. They belong to the music, to their brand, which on its turn belongs to record labels.
Your soul is mine.
In Marxism, this process is called estrangement or alienation, when fruits of labor of thousands and thousands of people are taken away from them for the good of the few who possess the means of production. That is the entire point of capitalism. That is how it always worked in industrial production, and it's how it works today in music. Just think about it. Music, which used to be a creative process, today is just another kind of industry. And just like any other industry, it is monopolized. And moreover, in music industry, there's not just estrangement of fruits of labor, but also there is estrangement of the personality of musicians.
BabyMetal this.
As much as musicians, the audience is affected by the market. Technically, there is no audience anymore. There are consumers. And what do consumers want? To be pleased. They want their new jeans to fit their bottom, they want their beer to be cold, and they want their favorite band to bring them the very same emotions they had when they were kids. And if it doesn't, oh, they will hate it. They will throw it away like an old toy and find a new one, because consumer is always right.
Oh well, you and I can have a cookout later.
Considering everything I just told you, what is BabyMetal? Well, it is a perfect product. Well cooked, professionally promoted, designed to be likable.
Cute little old man. If you want a boy, I can be a boy. And if you want a girl, I can be a girl. Hell, I can be whatever you want me to be.
Just see how they're branding themselves, sending signal to the market. Come and sell us. You know, as far as I know, after 4 years in music college, all the musicians of all times hated to be classified. But BabyMetal as a revolutionary band set boundaries on their own revolutionary music by themselves. How typical for metal. By the way, what is the content of this product? Can you please enlighten me? What is kawaii about kawaii metal besides little girls? I can't see it. I can't tell difference between kawaii trash metal, kawaii black metal, and orthodox trash metal and black metal. So come on, comments, go ahead, enlighten me. Write in comments. Come on. Go ahead. Maybe guitar solos, drums, bass, something. Give me something. I'm really interested. Having problem with that? Not surprised even professionals struggle with this task.
BabyMetal.
Which is not surprised because compilation, yeah, exactly, compilation of everything popular does not make you a new, recognizable genre.
BabyMetal this.
The central element of the band is definitely their producer, but as we've been convinced that little girls are the core element of the band. Okay, let's start with the girls. You love the girls. I know if you're a BabyMetal fan, you love these little creatures. Well, okay, you like the girls. And I'm not surprised because people love children, usually. Check any talent show on TV and you will find these motherfucking parents making their kids to cultivate their self-esteem because they know no matter what the kids will do, everybody is gonna love that because it's children. They are kawaii.
I dig BabyMetal. It's just wrong on every level.
What?
It's just entertaining as hell.
What?
I mean, how can you not be entertained watching that?
What?
Seriously, the classics of comedy. Character who doesn't fit his surroundings. But not as a joke, not as funny video on YouTube. For serious as revolution in metal music. Listen, what if, I don't know, who's the most hated pop singer today? Let it be Miley Cyrus, okay? What if Miley Cyrus hires a professional producer, just like BaBYMETAL? He will hire very skillful performers. He will hire composers who will write new music for her old songs in style of metal, all the most popular genres of metal. And then she goes into rhythm. How do you think? Are people like Metallica, Judas Priest, Rob Zombie, are they gonna support Miley Cyrus? Oh, I wanna see my budget John saying something like, oh, this is horror metal. This is not just Miley Cyrus doing horror shit on stage. This is all in complexity. Don't be close-minded.
That's just close-minded people.
If you're a metal fan, comrade, I assume that you're not familiar with J-pop and K-pop, so-called idol business, where little girls came from. Well, I will enlighten you with great pleasure. The point is that South Korea and Japan have created the most totalitarian music industries in this world. They have several corporations breeding pop musicians like animals. They train children since very early age, and when they grow up, they form out of them hundreds and hundreds of equal bands every year. It looks like freaking human conveyor.
We would always be separated, and we always had different schedules on purpose, so we would never like run into each other or have any time to talk to each other. Literally read through your conversation, which is so embarrassing. It's like 11 p.m., 12 p.m., 1 a.m., 2 a.m. We don't pick up. They would give you a hard time about why you don't pick up. You know, were you drinking? Were you outside? Were you doing anything that you weren't supposed to? They know where you're going 24/7, any time of the day. They know what you're eating. They know when you're practicing. It's just so stressful because they get into your private life, personal life.
I mean, how can you not be entertained watching that?
They are used for entertainment on different TV shows, so-called doramas, and also for advertisements. This is some sort of vegan floops show.
Characters from Floop's TV show. They're prisoners.
So already, who is revolutionizing metal music? people who just came from totalitarian hell. And you know, there is huge possibility that they're still in totalitarian hell because they are still a project of Japanese corporation. They still have no right to express their feelings and emotions about what they're doing in time of interviews. Their fans are constantly complaining that their interviews are strictly scripted.
We're dealing with a genius.
Told you Floop was a freak.
And you know that cute little tuneless song the characters sing? Play it backwards.
We're trapped! Floop is a madman, help us, save us! Floop is a madman, help us, save us!
So, seriously? Totalitarianism? Is it what metal music had lacked all these years? Well, maybe major labels will appreciate these groundbreaking technologies of advertising business, but are you sure that people like Marilyn Manson are supposed to support this? Another element of this Frankenstein monster, the only living thing in it, is their back band. I admit that Commy band are very skillful and talented musicians who love playing music. But alas, they are not allowed to take photos with musicians who probably inspired them to start playing music themselves. Or sure, they're not cute enough for being metal revolutionaries.
Hi, we are
BabyMetal.
and these are 10 things you need to know about BabyMetal.
Number 2
Members of BabyMetal.
はい、私たちベビーメタルはスーメタル、ユーメタル、ノアメタルの3人グループです。
On the other hand, they're skillful. So what? Metal music had never known skillful guitar players and drummers? You know, statistically, there are much more skillful performers than people who can write original music. There are thousands of them around the world, so why to allocate these particular guys among the others and call them a revolutionary band? They have to be skillful. They're not little girls who are just cutie. Seriously, they're just cutie. Are you really this much surprised that little girls do not die right after they hear heavy music? Or maybe you had never seen little girls bouncing around, shaking their heads and hands. You know, if you teach your kids something since early age, they achieve things. Kids are gifted. No kidding. Another peculiar element of the band is their producer, a freak who pretends to be an idiot telling ridiculous stories to the journalists, and by that avoided answering questions which could compromise his product in the eyes of true musicians. Very clever for an idiot, you know? He invented this story about Fox God and uses it every time to shut up people who are asking inconvenient questions.
Where's the trigger? Where is it?
Only the Fox God knows.
Another vital element of heavy metal, maybe the most important one, is their promotion.
You are close-minded, but you love them. You are the purest. They're so cute. Marilyn Manson supported. They're so cute. You open your favorite band, Red Hot Chili Peppers, but you love them. Metallica likes them.
Reference to the authority. Not bad, not bad. This is one of the most efficient methods of propaganda. Because it refers to the origins of human beings, as Homo sapiens is pack animal. So biologically, we are all conformists. As has been proved by many different psychological tests, most of people are afraid to argue with the crowd, and especially with the leaders. So when alphas of the pack say that little dancers are metal musicians, most of people will never argue with them. Even if they had some bad feeling about it, some thoughts about it, they will just stop arguing. There is one little thing people who supported BabyMetal do not understand. Little girls are never ever again gonna take photos with the same bands they've taken photos with before, because they've already used them for free promotion and just threw them away. My fave band.
I mean, how can you not be entertained watching that?
They already have photos in the internet, so today they have covered the entire spectrum of metal genres by appearances on the photos with different representatives of them. And today, if some metalhead who had never heard of BabyMetal will try to Google about it, he will find a picture of his favorite band with BabyMetal and shut up. He will never argue with them. But have you ever tried to argue with BabyMetal fans? Oh, I have. And I tell you, they have no respect to people who supported BabyMetal. They use their names as argumentations, but only because they know. But that for those who disagree, these musicians are important. They are leaders. Their music is meaningful. And they don't care that none of the musicians had ever said anything in particular about BabyMetal music. They were mesmerized by little girls, they were surprised, and that's enough. BabyMetal is not a rock band, darling.
They opened up for Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga is a pop singer, and I is BabyMetal.
Rob Halford played with them on the same stage. I hope you know who that is.
Okay, then could you please name me some Judas Priest greatest hits?
Lead guitar player of your favorite band played with them on the same stage.
So what? Who is BabyMetal's songwriter?
Only Fox God knows.
Hi, we are
BabyMetal.
and these are 10 things you need to know about BabyMetal. Number 1.
Number 2. Number 3.
Catch us
At AP Music Award
with special guest
Rob Halford.
So, are you excited to play with Rob Halford?
It's a very, very exciting and our dreams come true.
When did you first hear of Judas Priest?
Today's show, our dreams come true. Our dreams. Number 4. Hi, we're BabyMetal, and we're on the cover of this Mouth Lock Sound.
The question is, why would musicians support BabyMetal in the first place? I can guess that they just have some sort of Vietnam War syndrome, as many of them when they were young, in the beginning of their careers, they were criticized and hated by the audience. They had to struggle with misunderstanding and stereotypes of fan bases of the bands they opened up for.
I just want to ask, what's the experience like? What does it feel like when you're like letting bands like BabyMetal open up for your tour?
I mean, that's fucking cool. I like seeing all the new up-and-coming bands and they open up for us, or I see them at shows. It's just, it takes me back to when I was one of those bands, and just seeing how naive and green they are, and learned all the ropes. It's a fun thing to watch.
But they did not run around from musician to musician looking for support and free promotion. They got their place on metal stage and in history of music due to their musical talents. But little girls, yeah, they did need support. That's why their producer used them to divert attention.
Sometimes, in order to think big, you have to think small.
Can't you really see that? Don't you think, comrade, that little girls from Pop Academy really like Judas Priest or Rob Zombie or Korn?
Who is your favorite singer?
Ariana Grande.
Oh, mine too.
Our dreams come true.
Well, I'm not saying that little girls can't like heavy music. I've been Metallica fan since I was 7 years old. But the point is that children, as they're just learning how to live in this life, they apply different role models and they rush into it. So when kid becomes a metalhead, he is supposed to hate pop music because all the metal musicians hate pop music. But little girls from Pop Academy luckily have such a rich taste in music in such early age.
You're talking about pop music, and you said that it makes you ashamed to be a singer, ashamed to be a songwriter, and what's worse is that you don't really know what to do about it.
It's like, I think I even described it in the book, I feel like I'm being stung by like 1,000 bees all at once. It's so canned and processed and lifeless. It bothers me.
Don't you think we forgot about something, comrade? Something very important in music. The actual music writing. Who is writing this revolutionary music? Don't you think these are little girls?
What do you love about making music?
Or the bang band, which have been outsourced from all over Japan. Or maybe this freak. Well, actually, this freak had written a couple of songs, by the way. But the rest of them. Take a look at this list, please. Do you recognize anybody? Any name doesn't ring any bell? For example, Yuya Yuppe, Japanese DJ, the only person I found any information about, because the rest of them are no names, they do not exist. How do you think any of these people, have they ever been granted for their groundbreaking music? Any awards, maybe interviews, maybe at least photos with famous musicians? No, there are always little girls everywhere.
BabyMetal this.
So tell me please, why on the earth all these famous musicians have been taking photos with freaking dancers? Not even the people who choreographed their performances. With the dancers.
Heavy metal monster ladies.
We're all stars now. In the dope show, we're all stars now. In
tell you why. Because if their producer tried to go from musician to musician asking for free promotion, I don't think he'd get as much support as little girls looking for justice. So, to make some sort of conclusion, didn't BabyMetal change anything about metal music? Oh, drastically. BabyMetal is Pandora. They've opened up a gate for the purest commercialism in a land of metal music. So today there is no decent reason to say that metal music cannot be manufactured the very same way as Japanese and Korean pop music. Personally, I have nothing to add about BabyMetal situation. Don't think anybody else have. So, if you, comrade, love metal music, if this music is meaningful for you, if you don't want it to turn into totalitarian idol business, please share this video. No pasarán.
It's a cruel, cruel world, all you little boys and girls, and some mean, nasty people want to have you for their supper. But if you follow me, you can all be free, free, you can all be free. As a bird on a big TV, if you dream, if you dream, if you dream, my dream. Full of selfish, mean, nasty people, nasty, 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 nasty. But there's a way you can make your day. You can laugh, you can smile, you can come and stay a while. You can dream my dream, you can have it all with me. You can dream my dream,